loop, in my opinion, when it comes to time and music. You have your beginning stages, your early stages, you go into your adolescence, then to your teen adulthood, and then back into your elder statesmanship, which is the beginning essence of your beginning. You know what I'm saying? So you go back into the womb, so to speak, or the tomb, however you want to look at it. And you need something to carry and be with you and walk with you that whole entire time, in my opinion. I feel like that's some real good music, such as people such as Mr. Eric Nolan and the Ojays. So it all is beneficial to the growth and development of who you are. And also discovering sometimes some of us need a good path to get on, to find and connect with love, so to speak, and if I may say it in that way. And you need that good music. So how do you feel about your love travels, your journeys? Has the music always been there for you too, whether it's ups or downs?
Yes, my daughter is named Harmony, and that wasn't by coincidence. So music is always a part of my life. It's even tattooed on me in one form or another. I'll get into that later, but it's always been there. Like every emotion can be expressed through music. And I think that's why people are always drawn to it, no matter what genre it is.
Absolutely, I agree. All right, y'all, it's time to get started with Mr. Eric Nolan. I wonder if you're there, if you can hear us, please turn your camera on and your mic on. Let me introduce you first. Eric Nolan of the legendary Ojays is showcasing his individual talents as an artist. In July 2014, Mr. Nolan released his first solo project, Mood Swing. The first single, Reminds Me, has been a staple of smooth jazz stations and local jazz stations. And that's what we need too. We got to revitalize this jazz thing. We can't let every other culture take it away from us. So also, the 107.3 FM The Wave has reached the number 8 on the Urban Adult Contemporary charts. That's what I'm talking about. Sirius XM radio charts has gained popularity on Spotify, iHeart, Pandora, and all of his listeners. His fourth single, On My Way, hashtag OMW, went to 14 times in 1 year of his hometown of Cleveland, Ohio, on the station of 107.3, The Wave. The release of Mood Swing includes a duet with the Ojays, singing partner Walter Williams Singer, and makes a new chapter in Nolan's career success. That's real, real cool. So since we're starting off at his very beginnings, Mr. Nolan, can you hear us? Are you able to unmute and turn your camera
on? My camera is on.
Okay, I see you. You popped on, me? Popped. You popped off again.
I popped off again. Hold on.
Okay, there you go. See. Oh, you're back off.
Okay, cool.
We see you.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I'm doing some errands. They called me at the last minute about the interview. So my day was already kind of like, mapped out. So I'm trying to squeeze things in around here. You know what I mean?
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you for being on. We're just right into it because I don't want to hold you too long.
Yes, we can hear you.
Kimmy D, jump on into it and start asking your questions, please.
So I just want you to give us a little brief history of your upbringing and how you got into music, and then we'll start going forward from there.
Oh, child, that's not brief.
I mean, give us the short version because we don't want to hold you up too much.
I don't know. I don't know because it's going to be pretty vague, but I started when I was 4 years old, and I found a love for it by watching a show called The Ken Hawkins Show. And I saw the Temptations, Jackson 5, Jackson 5, the Whispers. And I just, oh man, and James Brown, and I just fell in love with it. I was like, I want to do that. But I didn't know if I could sing or not. I just knew that I could kind of dance a little bit. So I said, well, let me try it. And then I found out that I was singing on key. I was like, oh, maybe I might have something here. So my mother used to take me around to the bars and stuff when we were, we weren't faring that well financially. So she would take me around to the bars and I would dance. I would dance for money, and they would throw money on the floor and my mother would pick it up. And then that way we could get something to eat that night or get some beans to last us for a couple of days. And it progressed from there. The thing that I didn't have no clue about was the financial part. I didn't know anything about. I don't even know how I thought they was paying their bills, but I didn't think about money. I just wanted to sing. That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to sing, and that's it. Nothing else, nothing else was like important to me. So by me singing, there were girls. So I wasn't popular. So I said, well, let me try this for the girls. And so that way, I wait a minute, this about to, so that's I started doing that then. And the rest is kind of like it's kind of history. And I did give you the condensed version and the short version.
Oh, it's fine. It's still enough information. So we're gonna move forward a little bit.
Go ahead.
Okay, and so tell us about what it was like being in the Ojays and what kind of advice did you give to someone who is in a musical group?
Well, see, being with those gentlemen at first, I was I was just
wanted to say hi. I was gonna tell you I have an escape at the.
Hold on. I got so many things going on right now. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It was somebody that wanted to speak. I don't know. Anyway, so being in the Ojays, being in the group, the first thing is first. Being with those guys, you learn how to be a team player. In my group, I had a group earlier, and in my group, I was the lead singer. But when I got with Eddie and Walt, they didn't need a lead singer. You know what I mean? They just needed a team player. So it's like my stepbrother is Charles Oakley from the New York Knicks. Well, when Charles Oakley was playing in Virginia Union, he was the leading scorer, averaging 27 points a game. All right. But when he got drafted to Cleveland, from Cleveland to Chicago, he was no longer the scorer. He had to be the team player. He had to be a rebounder. So that same blueprint went with me in the Ojays. Being a lead singer, that was not important to me. It was by being a team player. So I knew what my role was when I got with them, because I knew what Sammy did before he got with them. You know what I'm saying? So being with those two guys and being with legends who already had carved out, their part in the music history, all you could do was humble yourself and in my case, just be glad that they chose me. You know what I mean? So that part was not hard for me to conform to, because I was already around greatness. What I was trying to do in my group, I was trying to get to where they were or where they're at. So all you could do is just humble yourself and try to learn, So what I tell these youngsters is that try to hone your craft and try to grab as much knowledge as you possibly can from what they call the old heads. You know what I mean? That's what that's what I do. That's what I do. I'm a sponge. So I absorb as much as I can. And even today, it's 25 years later, I'm still in school the whole time. Because Eddie and Walt always tell me something that I didn't know before, that I was like, oh, so that's how that works. So try to absorb as much knowledge as you can, and quit thinking you know it all. You can't know it all. If you're 22 years old, you're 25 years old, you only been on this earth 22 years, you can't know it all, right?
We still can't know it all, even as you age, because everything changes.
Especially today, it's changing at a rapid pace. Like speed of thought. So yeah, to your point, yeah, you're right. Even at this age, you still can't know it all. Did I answer your question?
Oh yeah, you definitely answered it. I was just listening. I like to try to listen before I respond, just taking in what you said. So also I wanted to ask you, with your own individual endeavors, could you give people a little bit about that, as well as your radio show?
Well, the Mood Swing project was a project that I put together. It didn't start off with me being a solo artist. It really started off with me trying to do a record label. And I had other groups on the label that I was trying to get out there. But a couple of other people that was inside the label was like, you should release a record to draw attention to the label. I wasn't trying to be a solo artist. I was happy with being one of the Ojays. So I had demoed a record for Will Downey. And so after I demoed it, we kind of liked it. So I went back in the studio and recut it. And we thought, and Reminds Me was going to be the first single. We wanted to see how that would do before I did Mood Swing, before I did the album. And when Sirius XM grabbed hold to it, I was like, okay, I might have something here. So I went back in the studio and I started recording different songs. But every time I went into the studio, I had a different mood. I was in the mood to do this type of song. Then I was in the mood to do this type of song. Because of my upbringing in music, I have so many things in my head of how to do music. And so next thing I know, when I started listening to the album, every song was different, but they came from a different mood. And me being a Cancer, being moody, I just said, so I was just like, I'll call it Mood Swing, because that's how the album got created. And then when I started charting, now it's no longer, I mean, it was still about the label, but now I wanted to be competitive. Now I wanted to reach the heights of the Will Downeys, of the Kims, the Eric Benets, and all of that. You know what I mean? So now I'm in the competitive mode now. Now it's more like I want to win. You know what I'm saying? And that's how that whole solo thing came about. I like it now. Before I was just doing it to help the label, but I did a couple of shows and I like it. I like depending on me, you know? So that's basically how that came about. And the radio show, that's a tricky situation too, because the radio show came up totally. Look, 107.3 The Wave in Cleveland was a station that was able to play independent artists. So a lot of my records that I released, the Wave would gravitate to them. They would grab them and they would play the records. Well, the Wave went off the air in December 6th of 2019. I panicked. I was like, how am I gonna get my records played in Cleveland? Because the other stations don't play local artists. They don't play independent artists, I should say, not local, but independent artists. And I was like, well, then I'm supposed to keep asking this question, try to do something about it. So I went to this, so it's a Black-owned radio station in Cleveland, WOVU 95.9. I went to the general manager and asked him, could I have one day that I can go on the radio? And he said yes. Well, by the time I got finished, they gave me 3 days. But my whole point was to get independent artists heard, along with my music too. That was my whole premise of even pursuing a radio thing. And it turned into something else. You know, it started getting popular, and a lot of independent artists start sending me music. A lot of these record promoters start sending me music, and the people in Cleveland start sending me music, and so it just grew into something else. And now it's I don't know if this means anything, but I'm #1 at the station, and my drive time slot is growing. But it's hard because I'm going up against DL Hughley, but it's rough. It's rough out here.
So I just want to ask you like 2 more questions, because I know you're short on time. My question is, as someone who's been in this industry as long as you have, what do you think has contributed to your longevity, and what do you think your greatest success has been thus far?
I contribute that to one. I have a I have a thing that I keep in my hip pocket. One is not only to be humble, but I'm not being humble because somebody said be humble. I'm humble because I didn't create this. I didn't create this. I didn't create anything. I didn't create music. I didn't create the Ojays. You know what I mean? So I don't have no reason to be feeling like I'm like the king of anything. You know what I mean? So I'm able to stay grounded, and I'm in the middle of two legends who have put in that body of work. I put in my form, I put in my time, but those guys, when I hear the stories about them having to come in the back room, couldn't eat out in the front because it was whites only, going to, having to use the bathroom out in the outhouse. They weren't allowed to use the bathroom inside the venues, stuff like that. You can't do nothing but humble yourself. So that's how I stay grounded, because I didn't invent anything. I didn't invent nothing. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates and all those guys, they invented stuff. They created something to change the world. I'm doing music to make people happy, but I didn't invent music. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's how I'm able to kind of, I don't even really feed into it that much. I like what I do. I love what I do. I love who I'm doing it with. And that's how I'm able to be all right. And that's why I try to tell some of these other entertainers who seem to respect the Ojays. I'll pull them to the side, away from people, so they don't feel like they're being embarrassed. And I'll be like, look, if they want an autograph, sign an autograph. That's a small price to pay for somebody who's paying $60, $70 to come and hear you perform. Take out time and nurture those people. What was your second question?
What do you believe has been your most successful thing thus far?
I think for me, it probably would be me doing that movie, doing the Fighting Temptations. I think that was probably one of my most successful moments of doing a movie with so many stellar performers and actresses and actors. You know what I mean? And then second would probably be the Lifetime Achievement Award at the BET Awards.
Okay.
That would probably come into a close second. All of the other awards are great and everything, but those are my memorable. Those are my biggest achievements. The Soul Train Awards, that kind of stuff. But the Fighting Temptation will have to probably be my number one.
So I just want to go ahead and tell you, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I know we're short on time. We probably will ask you back if you're willing to come back on and get into more of that musical history.
Kim, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do it whenever you set it up. This was just, he didn't even give me 24 hours. You know what I mean? He just called me yesterday, like afternoon. You know what I mean? And my day was already planned for the next day. But I wanted to do it so that I wouldn't be one of those, you know how you try to get in touch with those performers and they say, well, I'm busy. They have to call me, you have to give me 72 hours notice or give me a week's notice. And I don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? I mean, because I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out some kind of way to get it done. You know what I mean? It's not like it's impossible. The only thing that'd be impossible is if I was on a flight or something like that. But he called, he didn't even give me a 24-hour notice, and I just wish he had because I could have structured things a lot better, and you wouldn't have to do and actually you can really keep talking if you want to.
I don't want to keep you, but I can't. Well, no, like I appreciate
I mean,
you
if you got
taking.
if you got a couple of more that you think that's important to ask me, I can do it.
Okay, because I wanted to speak to your point of, still remaining humble, because as we've seen with everything that's happened, things have changed in a matter of moments, just like with the pandemic and other things, and your career can go from the top to the bottom. So I just want to speak to that part about it is important to be humble and also to give that advice to other people. And I have a question for you in regards to that. As someone who's been on teams, do you think it's harder now for some people to remain humble and operate in a collective environment as opposed to individualistic?
Yes, I do think it's in today's climate of the whole social media thing. Social media have a way of giving you false courage, if that makes sense. The false courage part is to make you feel like you're bigger than what you really are. People keep forgetting that they're just human beings. People keep forgetting that the law of gravity is what goes up got to come down. It has to. You can't stay on top forever. You can't keep making hit records forever, because there's always somebody in the wings that's got another idea of how it should go, or another record that's going to be bigger, and then you're going to become old news. The best thing that I could tell them is that, see, the business is not like it was when we were coming up. Groups had staying power of 15, 20, 25 years. Today, staying power is like 3 years. And then you're a superstar if you can stay for like 5 or 10 years. Then that's when you become like a extra, that's when you become a Beyonce or a Jay-Z or Chris Brown or Usher or something like that. But when you're just, just getting a couple of records, I've had talks with numerous of entertainers, stars, if you will, and I probably got back to me, probably 70% of the entertainers that I have talked to come back to me and tell me thank you for telling them, to explaining to them that, bruh, listen, man, you just doing music. You're giving people temporary relief. You're making people feel good. You're making people not, take away the troubles and the worries that they're going through at that particular time. But you didn't cure cancer. So you're not greater than, you're just really good at what you do. And that's how I try to keep them, put it in perspective. I'm not a big fan of the people who look down on other people because of what they're doing, because they're only doing music and they're only on stage. You know what I'm saying? And they only sung a song. I'm not a huge fan of it. Never have been. And I know social media plays an important part of it, because people get on there and they tell you how great you are and how you changed my life and how you did this and how you did that. And then you start thinking you God, and you better not ever think that. You know what I'm saying, Kim? You can't ever think that. Yeah. So just stop it. We need to get us a t-shirt, Kim, to say just stop it.
Oh, that would actually probably sell, because you can put that in many things.
That's right.
As someone who has seen the emergence of independent artists, do you think that it has been more beneficial now that people are growing the popularity without the backing of a record label?
Yes, I do. Because financially it's rewarding if you can get into mainstream by being an independent, but it's also a big task. It's trying, because you have to invest your own dollars, and you kind of like have to roll the dice to and hope that just hope that it catches on, or hope that radio plays it, because radio is so industrial. The company, the radio, which you already know, the radio stations now, you got one company owning 1,100 stations, and you got another company owning 800 stations. And so you got to deal with that one person to get your record played. That one person, I got to get in touch with Kim to get and send my record to Kim. And then I got to jump through hoops or whatever Kim asked me to do to get that record played on her 1,100 stations. Whereas independent radio stations, you know, you do the work of old school. You go to each station and you get on the record, and you may do a commercial, you may do a interview, you do some drops, you know what I'm saying, and you establish a relationship. Nowadays, we don't have relationships with those stations because it's only one company running a bunch of stations. So independent, yeah, it's rewarding, but it's also trying. It's still rough. It's still rough, even as an independent artist, but it's more rewarding that way though.
Gotcha. So I just want to ask this last question. Is there any piece of advice that you would give the listening audience in regards to life, music, or anything else that you might want to tell people?
Never, ever give up your dream to make somebody else's dream happen. If you got a dream, if you feel a certain way about your craft or whatever it is, if you feel that way about it, stick to it. If you came up with an umbrella that you know, you feel like it's better than the next umbrella just because there is an umbrella out there, man, go forth and try to get that umbrella. If you believe in that umbrella that you just knew, type of umbrella that you made, then go for it. I don't believe in smashing dreams, but you have to be realistic. You gotta be realistic. Don't think you know everything. If you can grab some knowledge from here, grab some knowledge from there, do that. The smartest person is the person who raises his hand and asks question. The smartest person is not the person who kept his hand down and don't want nobody to see that he don't know. So once you raise your hand and you ask the question, once you get the answer, you got the answer for life.
Oh yeah, I definitely
Wow, I'm
agree.
that guy. Ooh. What did you mean by that? And I will ask them. If they start trying to use big words around me, and I don't know what them big words are, I'll say, wait a minute, what does that mean? See, because I could take the knowledge, I can take what you just taught me, I could keep that with me for the rest of my life. Than opposed to not knowing. That's my little advice. That's me. That's, you know.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because when I was in college, I used to be the one that was asking questions. You know, people get annoyed, but it's like, no, if you want the answer, you got to ask, and then you can find out, and then you can do what you want with it. But I want to give it back to Ge Holla in case he has anything he want to put in with this nice conversation that we've had for this morning, my time, afternoon. Ge Holla.
Where are you? Where are you at?
Oh, I'm in
right
Alabama, so I'm Roll Tide.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I got family in Bessemer and Birmingham.
Okay, I'm in Tuscaloosa, so it's not far at all.
No, not at all. Where you go, man? What's happening?
Okay,
y'all got to get back on here at a real time, man. Y'all got to get me back on here. Give me some days to work it out.
We're gonna have you back on real soon. Thank you for the interview today. I do have some questions, but I'm not gonna hold you. If you could you just give us a drop, if you don't mind, Miss Nolan? Just let the people know that you're on My Celebrity Life with Kimmy D and Ge Holla, if you don't mind.
I don't mind. I gotta remember it.
Okay.
I'm on. That's all. Because I don't have a pen and paper. I'm on what? Celebrity?
Okay. Just say this part. I'll add the rest in. Just say I'm on My Celebrity Life, and I'll add the rest in. I appreciate you.
No, I can do the Kimmy D and Holla because I see y'all up there.
Okay.
I can do that.
The name of the show is called
My
okay.
Celebrity Life. Right?
Yes.
Okay. You ready for me?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hi, this is Eric Nolan, and you're listening to My Celebrity Life with my girl Kimmy D and my main man Ge Holla.
Holla, I appreciate you. I'm definitely going to reach out to your peoples, want to have you back on so we can go deeper into the music and enjoy some of that too, as well as we have you on the show. And thank you for being here. Drive safely in all that you do. Bless you, my good brother, and continue to be the stand-up and great man that you are. And I appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. That means a lot coming from you, man. I appreciate it. I just really want to give you the best that I got, so that's why I really want to do another interview if I whenever y'all feel time. I just need enough time. That's all.
Understood that. All right. You take care, my brother. All right, y'all. That's Mr. Eric Nolan. He will be back. So y'all make sure y'all tune in, tap in, link in back with us, and make sure you follow all of his social media and everything he got going on. Please support every day, man. Support the celebrities that you don't know and support the good people that you don't know too as well. That's what we call a community. And we build back like how everything else does in nature with the ants, with the birds, with the fish. We work as a colony towards one greater good. And we are out. Holla, holla, Miss Nolan. Take care.